Hi everyone, in this video we are going to see the demo of secure coding project that we have created as part of our curriculum at IIITD. So here's the home page of our application, which is index.jsp. Uh, First of all, actually we are showing the secure version of the web application that we have created. So this is the first page. The first functionality that we are going to look at it is register. So I'm clicking on the link register. Now I will fill up this page, the sign up page. The name John, roll number is PhD02. The roll number is actually the user ID of the person. So that's it. aas@gmail.com. Password is 123456. We have put a constraint of 6 characters on the password, 6 letters on the password. So now just register it. We can see that the user is now registered. We can check it in the DB, and we can also see that the REST API that we are using to create a new user is rest/db/register. Now let's have a look at the second functionality. That is how the sign up takes place, how the sign in actually takes place, how the login takes place. So first of all, in the user ID field we have to put PhD02, that is the roll number, and the password that we give there, 123456. I'm clicking on the sign in page, and we can see that we have reached the events dashboard page, which lists all the events, recent events that are going to occur. Here we can see the name of the user ID of the individual, and there is a logout option also. So here he has the option either to create a new event, or he can even modify the events. So to modify the event, we have given links, by clicking on which the user can modify a particular event. Okay. Now the next functionality that we are going to look at is how to create a new event. So here our user will actually click on this button, new event. This pop-up page comes up, and here the PhD02 field is auto-filled because he's the event creator. The event name would actually be anything. Event description, GK, quiz, location, as per I want. The start date, it should actually follow the format MMDDYYYY. So anything that satisfies this would actually go. Otherwise, it would show some error. 082015. Cool. So now you will save the event, and you can see that the new event is created. To create the new event, the REST API that is used is rest/event service/create event. So similarly, the next thing that we are going to look at is now the modify event. So only the user who has actually created the event can modify his event. So let's see what we can do here. So we have this event which was created by PhD02. This is actually event ID 19. So if we click at any other user's event, it will actually show me that I am not authorized to modify this event. So we can see it here. So now I will go and go forward and edit this event. So all the fields are now here auto populated, and I can change any one field. I will change this field and update it. That you can see the event is modified, and the REST API that is used to actually modify this event is rest/event service/modify event. So the next functionality that we are going to look at is the logout functionality. So here the session of PhD2 user is still valid. So now we just click on the logout page. What it will do is it will invalidate this session of the user, and we will get back to the index.html page. So far, as of now, we have already covered the things that a normal user can do. Now we talk about the concept of the admin user. So the admin user we have taken its username or user ID to be admin, and the password of admin is 123. So let's just sign in. We can see that the admin.jsp page has opened up, and there are three buttons showing up. One is get users list, the other is get events, and the next is get users list. In the get first two buttons, we actually get the JSON directly by the REST services, and in the last one we are actually showing the get users list using the JDBC connection of SQL. So let's have a look at the events that occur on clicking these events. So first of all, we go to the get users JSON. So here we can see the list of all the users, including even the admin. No, the admin is not a normal user, so admin is not here. So these are all the users and all the data that is there in the student profile data table that we have created. Next thing is we go to the get events JSON. Here we'll get a JSON file that is actually having all the attributes of the events table. And similarly, the next thing is get users list. In this we will see a table that will display all the users. So this is the functionality of the admin. The admin can actually see all the users list and all the events. Yeah, that's it. And similarly, we have also the logout functionality for the admin. Once we click on logout, the session gets invalidated, and we reach back to the index.jsp page, that is our home page. Similarly, this was actually the secure version of the API of the web application that we have created. So here we can see it is HTTPS, and the port number that we are using is 8443. So now we are going to look at the how we have cleared the flaws and the vulnerabilities that were present in the insecure version of the code. The insecure version of the code is named as com.insecure.restful, and the secure version is actually com.shubu.restful. So first of all, we will see the SQL injection. Why the SQL injection is possible in the insecure.restful application? It's because we are using the statement. It's because we are using the statement for writing a SQL query. So we can see it here in this line that the query is written using statement. So what happens is actually while giving the values for these event name, the user can actually enter some sort of delete query or some other sort of queries into this string, and which actually gets executed when the insert operation takes place. So in this case, we can actually end up losing the entire tables or some rows. So to prevent it, what we actually have to do in the secure version of the code, we have to use prepared statements. So this is now the secure version of the code in which we are using the prepared statements. We can see here in the line number 17 that we are using prepared statements. In prepared statement, we actually tell just the arguments, and then using the set string function of the prepared statements, we give the value that is actually to be passed to the insert query. So this is how we have done it. This is how actually the secure version of the code works. The next thing that we are going to take a look at is the vulnerability securing sensitive web data. So in this case, again, we have the two versions, and we will actually take a look at the index.jsp page by logging into the user. So first of all, we take the insecure case. In this case, I have the user MT1223, okay, and the password is for that user 123 in this case. So I just sign in, and we can see that in the URL we are passing this query string user equal to MT1223. So this is actually done to create sessions and all that kind of stuff, and this is actually exposed to the user in plain text. So this is actually not required to be done. This should not be done actually in the secure case. So let's see what happens in the secure version of the code. So in this case, I will just log in with the user in the secure case phd02 and put its password 123456 and sign in. So here we can have a look that no query string is passed to the user, and I actually reached to the events dashboard.jsp page. So the thing that is done is we create a session while after checking the user in the database, and the change is actually done in the login service.java itself. So in the login service.java, we are actually in the insecure version, we are actually passing this query string here while redirecting the page. And in case of the secure version of the code, we are not doing such thing. We are just creating a session beforehand itself. So in this way, we can handle this issue, this vulnerability, that is the secure sensitive web data.
Okay, let's see what we have here for JavaScript client-side validation for forms. As you can see, I have opened my insecure version of web application here in this tab, and the secure version of web application here in the right one. So before we move into JavaScript validation, let's see here. It's a simple HTTP page that is showing connection is not secure, and here you can see that HTTPS sign. That means your connection is secure and data that is being transmitted between the server and client is encrypted. If you go look into more details, you will find out that your data is encrypted using AES 128. So you can be assured that your data is secure while it's being transmitted over internet. Now let's move into what client-side JavaScript validation. Here I have already filled up the values for insecure version of my web application, and I will create an account. So I have provided invalid email address, and I will give it some password like okay. Now I will click register. Let's see what happens. Oh, actually that happened because the email address, the invalid email address, I already had added for the account. So this time I had changed the email address, and now I will try to add this account. So also changing the roll number will be required because roll number is the user ID here. So now I register, and you get to see that account is registered, as you can see here. Now let's get back, and let's move to secure version of my application. Here I have provided a secure like valid email ID, but just for testing it, I will make it an invalid email ID, and I will change the roll number also. So here I will provide the password. Now let's click on register. As you can see, it's giving a invalid email ID pop-up. Again, I will provide it a valid, again one more invalid email ID, and I will try to register this. Again it gives me an invalid email ID. So now this time I will provide it a valid email ID. Let's see what I get. Okay, as you can see, my account is registered here. Now let's see in the user listing if our accounts are actually registered or not. For that we will need to log out. So okay, I will first move in, and then again log in as admin to get user listing. Here I will click on get user list. So you can see just now I had created this user with the email ID just now, and this one more user with the email ID, invalid email ID. So you can see that these user accounts are created, and also you can see that we have implemented JavaScript validation for client side. So that's it.
The next thing that we're going to have a look at is handling sensitive data. So in this we again have the two versions, the insecure version and the secure version. So in the insecure version what happens is that during the creation of a user, we actually save the hash of the password, right? So in case of insecure version we actually store it in the clear. So it is actually, the password is actually stored in clear text. So we can see in using during the login time in the secure version of the code, when we enter the password in the login field, we first use the message digest and SHA function. So let's see it here. In case of secure version, you can see this code is present, which actually converts the actual password into a message digest using the SHA-256, and this is what is compared with the value that is stored in the database. In the database, we actually store the SHA hash of the password that the user has written. Similarly, in case of the insecure version, you can see that the message digest thing is not present, which means that the password to be matched has to actually compare with the clear text. So in this case we have not used any message digest to store the hash of the password there. So this tells us about how to handle the sensitive data, which in this case is password.
So let's see how our application deals with accesses attack. Here I have one insecure version of the application opened, and in this tab I have opened the secure version of the application. Here you can see the description. It contains a script tag with alert ins for insecure, and here in the secure version I have this script for alert with s for secure. So let's see what happens when we have modified these events, and if we get to see this alert box or not. So let's start with the secure version. So I will update this event is modified. I will reload the event list page. So let's see what we get to see. Here, as you can see, this script is shown as the script alert as it is, and script is not executed. Let's see what is written over here exactly in the source code. So let's inspect this element. This shows us that okay, it was so what I did was we sanitized the input and converted these less than and greater than signs to their HTML equivalent $LT semicolon and $GT semicolon. So that's how we prevent accesses in our secure version. Let's see what happens if we do this same thing in the unsecure version. Now let's update this event. Okay. Okay, actually I deleted that event already, so we will need to reinsert the event. So the user logged in as empty1223, and there is this one event for this empty1223. Let's refresh this page before, and now we can modify this event. Okay, I'll modify it to contain script tag for the alert. So now if I update this, let's see what happens. I'll update it, event modified, and now let's go to the page of event listing. So here you see I added that, and it shows me this alert box containing the high text that was in the event description input box. So let's see what we have in the source code. The event was this particular event owned by empty1223. So let's see what we have here. In this TD box, as you can see, we have this script tag containing the JavaScript code, and it is getting executed. So this is how we are preventing accesses in our secure version versus the insecure version of our web application.